by that? Well, there is been announced that a mothership has deployed a lot of scout fleets and stuff, and people don't know what they're talking about. Basically, this was over the Langley's Air Force Base in Virginia and also in California, Palmdale, California, specifically, where Lockheed Martin has a company. And they don't know what this is. Even the FBI, the CIA, all your think tank agencies are getting together, and nobody can really figure out if these are aliens or what's going on. Now, I told you guys in a small video last year that the government was going to fake a false flag alien invasion. And I think that's probably what this is. I don't want to get too far on this rabbit hole right here. The main topic on this video right now is world tensions. And our election is just 18 days away. So, what do we have all going on? Well, you guys are keeping up pretty well. And most of you guys know what I know as far as world tensions, or most of you do. Right now, we have Israel just made a big strike on Iran and Hezbollah, and the general Sinwar has been killed. And now Iran or Hezbollah vows that it's going to step up their retaliation efforts in that war. Now, France is saying that they're going to pull funding of weapons for Israel. So you're going to see a lot of countries start to pull their funding or basically the weapons for Israel, and they're going to try to pull their fight down a little bit. So a lot of this is Bible prophecy. You guys have already know this. You've talked about it before. What else do we have going on in the world? Well, obviously the Ukraine war, and the United States continues to fund for that, and it has just sent another, gosh, I forget the number already. I think it's 145 million in the Presidential Drawdown Act that was announced 2 days ago. And to date, since August of 2021, it's been a little more than 3 years. The United States has sent more than $52 billion to the country of Ukraine. Most of that's for military aid. And by comparison, our supports to Israel are $158 billion, but that's over the last 76 years since 1948. 76 years we've sent $158 billion to Israel, and in 3 years we've sent 52 plus billion dollars to Ukraine. So if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. We still have China threatening to take over Taiwan, but it's not just Taiwan. Now they're coming over here, and as each year passes, our concerns with China grow a little bit higher. China continues to send military-aged men into our country. It continues to buy more and more acres of our farmland every year. More and more acres of our state parks belong to China, especially when you get down to the Southwest. You now see a lot of it's being called China now, China State Park. I think that's in Arizona. A couple of years ago, they came onto our army base in Alaska and tried to take it over. There's a lot going on with tensions worldwide. North Korea just now pledged to send 100,000 troops to aid Russia's attack of Ukraine. And again, I said that Ukraine is the bad guys all along, and it's sad that we're throwing all this money to Ukraine because what do you have at the middle of Ukraine? Well, you got those biolabs. That's the source of a lot of the stuff going on in the world right now. So there's all that right now. You've got the election 18 days away. Trump should have it wrapped up, it looks like. Kamala Harris is floundering badly. She had a rally in Wisconsin recently at the end of August where Donald Trump had one too. And they were at the Harris rally. It wasn't very many people there, really. And they were laughing about abortion, killing babies. Well, some man yelled out, "The Lord is good." And Kamala Harris corrected him and said, "I think you're at the wrong rally. You need to go down to the one with the less people." Well, her rally had the less people. And the fact that she told somebody they were at the wrong rally because they believed that Jesus was Lord, because that's what the guy said, is just terrible. Why would anybody want a president like that? So Donald Trump's on the other end of it. He's saying the good things. He's acknowledging Jesus as the savior and stuff. So that's great. But the things I don't really like is Elon Musk And I do want to talk about Elon Musk a little bit. He came to the Butler rally that I went to last Saturday, and he wore the black dark MAGA hat and called it that. And even Trump is acknowledging the dark MAGA hat, and he'll even sign one to people who are giving a little bit of money to his campaign or whatever. But with Elon Musk, you have to understand that I think Trump's just using him for a popularity check, honestly. I mean, I don't want to say using him, but if it gets him votes, I think that's what he's thinking right now. But look at everything with Elon Musk. So this guy is now the richest man in the world. He did take a hit of about $14 billion when he announced the Robo Van and the Robo Taxi a couple days ago. And the Robo Van, it can hold up to 20 people. It doesn't have a pedal, it doesn't have a steering wheel, and it's completely automated, and it can haul up to 20 passengers, or it can haul luggage from destination to destination. And the Robo Taxi is the same way. It's fully automated, it doesn't have a pedal or a steering wheel. It's very futuristic looking. But when you get to the crux of these vehicles, they can't be made, they can't be produced without the mining of lithium. And I've talked about it on another video of what's going on in North Carolina specifically, but it's not just North Carolina, it's also South Carolina, and it's also in Texas. So in North Carolina, you have the Piedmont Corporation, which has already struck a deal with Tesla. And those quartz is part of it too. The quartz mines and the lithium mines, they are in the region that was just slammed by Hurricane Helene. Now, Hurricane Milton did bypass that area, but Hurricane Helene brought the damage. And some of those mountainous areas received up to 20 inches of rain. And that's unprecedented. They've never, in the history of recorded weather, they've never received that kind of amount of rainfall in a 3-day period. They all set records in that area in western North Carolina. So you guys already know the devastation. You've seen it. The people are out of homes. There was one family of 11. They all died. I believe it was in a mudslide or something. And it's very tragic. Now, the efforts that people are doing to try to donate supplies, civilians, they beat the North Carolina National Guard to the punch. They were the first ones on the ground. And when the North Carolina National Guard showed up, they were roto washing or displacing some of the supplies with the air from the propellers of the helicopters, and they took the blame for that. They said that this was our fault. We just didn't know where to land. We weren't communicating with the civilians, and it wasn't intentional that we were trying to wash your supplies away. And at first, I wanted to believe that, but here's the thing: the North Carolina National Guard is supposed to be the very first ones on the scene, right? Civilians aren't supposed to be there first, so that's a shame in itself. And then you got you're waiting on your soldiers to have Title 10 orders cut. Why weren't they cut right away? Why were those guys not on the ground right away providing relief? And the reason I don't believe them, I think they were just taking the heat for FEMA. The National Guard was, because there was 2 black unmarked SUV vehicles there before, about an hour before the helicopter showed up. And they didn't say anything to anybody. They weren't asking for help. They were scout vehicles. They were to see where the people were, and that was to be the signal for the helicopters to show up to roto wash the supplies out. And if you don't want to believe that that's what was happening, consider this: that the semis that were there delivering supplies, one state over in Tennessee, they were getting their tires slashed. There's been so many instances of people having their relief efforts squashed and trying to help out. So it's just crazy what's going on in this whole thing right now. So I really don't know what else to say on that, but it's just really bad. So I think FEMA's behind a lot of it. So I don't know, but that's what we got to roll with right now. It's civilians are leading the way in recovery efforts, and a lot of their efforts are being undermined. But that's enough I'll say about that right now. I am getting another video about the exact details of what's going on, how much rainfall they've been getting, and all the people that have made videos about the helicopters and all that stuff. I'm going to roll that out here later today for you. But I just wanted to talk about 18 days to the election, all the stuff going on worldwide with the country's tensions. I think we're going to end up in a World War III before the election. And I do want to leave with this closing comment right now is Kamala Harris, they do want to take your guns away from you, and they do want to censor what we can say on social media. It's she's already said it. It's recorded. There are videos of it. They're not hiding it. They've come right out and said it. Hillary Clinton has said it too. They want to start putting people in jail or fine them or something for what they're saying on social media, and they want to hold those media platforms accountable. It's already bad enough. That's our First Amendment, the freedom of speech. We should have that. For the people that say, oh, they're private companies and they should be able to limit what is said on their platforms, well, the president's telling them what they can and cannot say. That's an infringement of the First Amendment in itself. You can't do that. So that's just common sense. It's tyranny. It's basically what Hitler was doing in a way. It's fascism at its finest, and she is a Marxist, just like her dad was from Jamaica. Speaking of Kamala Harris, so I don't think she has a chance. I really don't. I think Trump's got this locked up, but they're going to try to steal it. And I think that even if he does win, they've the Biden Harris administration has already authorized the military to be used against its own people in case of a civil riot. So be prepared. There's a lot of stuff hitting the fan at us here these 18 days. It's going to get hairy. I would encourage you guys. Trump's saying if you're going to vote for him to vote early. I personally encourage you guys to vote later. I want you to vote on the day because if it should happen to be close, then you want him to have that last final push to put him over the top, at the 11th hour. But people are now saying that it appears that we're going to have our results on election day. It's not going to be what happened last time where you have to wait a day or two. They think this is going to be a shoe in, it's going to be locked up. Kamala Harris didn't even show up at the Al Sharp presidential dinner last night. And the last president or the last presidential candidate that didn't show up for that dinner was Walter Mondale. He won one state out of the 50. It was Minnesota. So, with that being said, it's still going to get hairy these next 18 days with world tensions, like I'm saying. So, just be on guard. Show up and vote. Even if your vote doesn't matter, if they steal it, you have to vote in record numbers because that's what Trump is saying. Make it too big to rig. So, my recommendation is to vote on the day. That way, it gives him that swell at the end to push him over the top. And we'll see what happens. So hang in there, guys. I know things are getting a little bit hairy. The port strike right now, that's delayed. The government, I think, has given them an extension. So that's okay. We're not looking at our supplies being dwindled just yet. But I think that goes to a little bit into maybe January. And then they're going to have to revisit that. So there's a lot going on in your news right now. Thanks for tuning into this video. I appreciate you guys so much. And we'll try to help you guys any way we can with information. We're still growing our garden. We're doing a lot of things. So appreciate you guys as always. Thanks for tuning in.